Give your attendance. Pritam Bose,
Present, ma'am.
Shantanu Barui, Shomodip Bishwas,
Present, ma'am.
Anna Chanda, Shatakshi Nandi, Anish Das,
Present, ma'am.
Anisha Ghosh, Shoga. Anisha, are you present? No. Shogato Mondol, Rechak Bhattacharya, Abhishek Dubey, Abir Pal, Shruti Chatterjee,
Yes, ma'am.
Trishita Vallabh, Debargho Som,
Present, ma'am.
Anurup Guha Thakurta, Shubhayan De, Shagnik Das,
Present, ma'am.
Shauradip Dhar,
Present, ma'am.
Lahar Gupta,
Present, ma'am.
Shutapa Dotto,
Present, ma'am.
Shivani Sahu,
Present, ma'am.
Trishita Ghosh, Ankita Haldar, Ankush Roy,
Present, ma'am.
yes, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay. Trishita, are you present? No. Ankush De, Ankita, are you here?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Ankush Roy,
Present, ma'am.
Devesh Mishra,
Yes, ma'am.
Ankita De,
Ma'am, present. Ma'am, sorry, earlier I thought you were calling my name, but I think I responded for Ankita Haldar. Sorry, ma'am.
oh, so Ankita Haldar, are you? Okay, Ankita Haldar is absent. Shayanti Mukhopadhyay,
Present, ma'am.
Ditsha Rakshit,
Present, ma'am.
Chayan Kumar Goi, Aniruddha Som,
Present, ma'am.
Yukta Malakar,
Present, ma'am.
Shayan Pal,
Present, ma'am.
Tanima Das, Shrija Mukherjee,
Present, ma'am.
Shoubhik Mahato, Ratnodip Ghoshal,
Present, ma'am.
Manjira Nandi,
Present, ma'am.
Rohan Shaha,
Present, ma'am.
Deepak Emmanuel Soren, Annesha Boiragi,
Present, ma'am.
Supriyo Roy, Arijit Sinha,
Present, ma'am.
Priyanka Singh,
Present,
Sne-
ma'am.
okay, Sneha Agarwal,
Present, ma'am.
Ankita Deb,
Present, ma'am.
Ashmita Roy,
Present, ma'am.
Shreyoshi Sarkar,
Present, ma'am.
Pradipto Chakraborty, sorry, Pritidipto Chakraborty, wait for a minute, yes, Pritidipto, Rohan Agarwal, Shukdev Bandyopadhyay,
Present, ma'am.
Rajdeep Dotto,
Present, ma'am.
Shagnik Bonik,
Present, ma'am.
Oyon Pal,
Present, ma'am.
Farhin Imran,
Present, ma'am.
Shayantika Bhomik,
Present, ma'am.
and Arujyoti Kundu. Okay, anyone left?
Ma'am,
Ma'am,
chant
I'm
one.
Satakshi Nandi. I'm present, ma'am.
I can't.
Ma'am,
Okay,
Ma'am, I'm
ma'am,
Prishita Ghosh. I'm present, ma'am.
just a minute. Chan Kumar Goi,
Yes, ma'am.
then Deepak Soren, then
Present, ma'am.
yes, then anyone else?
ma'am,
Prishita
so
Satakshi Nandi, ma'am.
Shatakshi Nandi, just a minute. Where is Shatakshi Nandi? Then
ma'am,
Trishita Ghosh.
Ishita,
Trishita
Trishita. Acha, Trishita Ballabh.
Ghosh.
Okay, Ghosh.
and ma'am,
Just a minute.
Sobit Mahato.
Acha.
Ma'am,
Shobhit. Just a minute. Shobhit Mahato. Yes.
ma'am, I'm
Yes, ma'am,
Trishita
present.
Ballab. I am also present.
Trishita Ballabh. Okay. Then
Thank you, ma'am.
Shobhit Mahato. Let me.
Yes, ma'am, present.
Yes, yes. I'm searching your name. Yes. Anyone left?
Ma'am, Anvay Chanda's mic is not working, but he's here.
Who?
Anvay Chanda.
Okay. That was the problem for the first half also, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. This is very tiring for you as well because your class has been started from 10 o'clock today, and then after around 3.5 hours, and then after your GE, and now again your CC. But what can I do? The time is so limited. I'm very sorry for disturbing in this way, but you know. So this is the slide which I am going to discuss. The marginal utility and the theory of demand. Okay. So that means we are just trying to find out with the help of the marginal utility how the demand is coming out. Okay. So look at the bold, this part first. Huh? Look, just a minute. Yes. Look, P is the price of the commodity. All of you know that, right? So what is the meaning of that P? P means when you are going to purchase 1 unit of the commodity, you have to pay P unit of money, right? So P is the sacrifice, I can say. P is the sacrifice, or rather it's a marginal sacrifice, because per unit of the commodity, you have to spend that money. Okay, so this is the marginal sacrifice for 1 unit of consumption. This is your sacrifice you are giving. Okay, so this is the marginal sacrifice. Now in exchange of that, what you are getting? You are getting 1 unit of the commodity. Now from that 1 unit, what is the satisfaction you are getting? You know, this is called the marginal utility, right? So your marginal sacrifice is P, your marginal return or marginal benefit, you can say it's a marginal utility. Okay, so you are giving P and you are getting mu. But the problem is you cannot compare these two things as simple as you think. Why? Because P is in terms of money, maybe rupees, maybe dollar, maybe pound, like this, and marginal utility is, at least it is not in terms of money. Okay, it is, according to cardinal theory, it is actually in terms of util. So how can you measure, for example, how can you compare centimeter with kg or centimeter with liter? Can you compare? Can you compare centimeter
No,
with?
ma'am.
No, you cannot, because the base, these are different. Okay, so that is why you have to make a your best level should be same. Then only you can compare. So how to make it? The price is P is in terms of money. So if you somehow convert this P in terms of utility, then it's better. Then it's very easy to compare, right? So for that, P is the amount of money. For that, you have to know what is the marginal utility of money. Okay, so marginal utility of money is 3. What does it mean? It means that if you are spending 1 unit of rupee, 1 rupee, then the sacrifice is 3 utils. Okay, so here the price is P. So you are spending P. So how much you will sacrificing? 3 into P. Okay, so this is the amount of utility you are going to sacrifice. Okay, so this is how you can convert your price in utility. So here for simplicity, it is assumed that marginal utility of money is 1. Okay, so P, if P is the price of the commodity, then P is the marginal sacrifice which you have done. Is it okay? Is it okay?
Ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, can you please repeat that part that where we are did that marginal utility of money?
Yes. Look, what is the problem here? We want to compare P with mu, right? But I cannot. Why? Because these are expressed into different units. Fine. So I have to convert. I have to convert either of these two in a single unit. So it's better to convert price in terms of utility. For that, what you need to know the value of the marginal utility of money. So what is marginal utility of money? That means if you are spending 1 rupee, what is the utility you are sacrificing actually? By definition, this is marginal utility of money. Is it okay? If you are spending 1 rupee, then how much utility you are sacrificing? Is it clear to you? What is,
If I'm
okay.
spending 1 rupee,
Then how much utility? You are giving 1 rupee. Okay. So you are giving 1 rupee. That means how much utility you are giving actually. This is called the marginal utility of money by definition.
okay, so if I'm spending 1 rupee, then how much utility I'm giving in that sense?
Sacrifice. Yes, yes, yes. I'm
Okay,
converting rupee in terms of utility. Okay. I'm giving
okay,
something. So definitely I am giving some utility. I'm giving some satisfaction. Right. So how much? This is by definition marginal utility. So here it is marginal utility of money. So say
okay.
marginal utility of money is 3. Say. Okay. So that means if you are spending 1 rupee, you are sacrificing 3 utils of utility.
Yes.
Okay. You are
Hmm.
spending P. Then how much sacrifice you have done? P into 3. For 1 rupee, your sacrifice is 3. For P rupees, your sacrifice is 3 into P.
Yes. 3 into P.
Okay. Now, if that 3
Okay.
is becoming 1, say the marginal utility of money is 1, then P rupees sacrifice means P util sacrifice. Na?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes, ma'am.
So that is,
Yes.
for simplicity, it is said that marginal utility of money is assumed as 1. Okay. So here I can say that if price of the commodity is P, then my sacrifice is P utils. Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So here your sacrifice is P and your gain is mu. Everything in terms of utility. Now there is no problem to compare. You get my point? Any problem from anyone else?
So,
Ma'am,
ma'am, when we are spending money,
Yes.
we are sacrificing and also gaining utility at the same time.
Yes, yes. You are
Okay.
getting the commodity. So this is your gain. and you are giving the money. This is your sacrifice.
Okay, okay.
Now, how you are
Yes, ma'am.
actually, you are doing this. You are doing this in your daily life, but you are not thinking the situation in this way. Okay. So here what is happening? The marginal sacrifice is P. Yes. Any other question?
Ma'am,
Yes.
for 1 rupees, my sacrifice is 1 utils,
Yes.
and for 3 rupees, my sacrifice is 3 into 1 utils.
Yes.
In this process, we can compute any other units also. No?
Exactly.
Okay, the
So that
unit
is
is
why.
utils.
Mhm. And as I
Mhm.
said, now all our theory, all our utility theory is based on the cardinal approach. So that is how we are using the cardinal approach. Okay. So look, here your sacrifice is P, your gain is mu. Now you are the rational individual, you are always comparing, right? Now look, if you're now come here, if price is greater than marginal utility, this is an example, just an example. Say price is greater than marginal utility. That means your sacrifice is more than your gain for a single unit of the commodity. Do you agree with me? If price is greater than marginal utility, that means for that particular unit of the commodity, your sacrifice is more than your gain or benefit. Is that okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
here you can see that, okay, I'm sacrificing more than what I'm getting. So I should not do that. So what will be your decision? You will definitely reduce your consumption, right? Because you cannot change the price is given in the price tag. Okay, so that is given to you. So what can you do? You can reduce the consumption because this is your choice, right? So you will reduce your consumption. Done. Now when you are reducing your consumption, marginal utility is rising. Why? Because there is law of diminishing marginal utility. When you are increasing your consumption, marginal utility is falling. That is a law. So if I'm applying this law from the opposite side, then when I'm reducing the consumption, then marginal utility should rise. Is that okay?
Yes, ma'am.
What is no na? Kichu confusion ache. Either you are drowsy, you are very sleepy, you are very tired actually. Otherwise, you cannot get that. Look, this is your marginal utility curve na? You know, uh, if there is law of diminishing marginal utility, then our mu curve is like this. So if I'm reducing the consumption, that means I'm going in this direction. Then marginal utility is increasing. Then, is that okay?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have any doubt, you just ask me, because this is just the beginning of the consumption theory. Huh? We have to go along. So if you have any doubt, stop me and ask. Make yourself clear. Otherwise, you cannot understand rest of the unit. Okay. So your marginal
Ma'am,
utility, yes.
Ma'am,
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 how
you
do
said that
we?
when P is greater than mu.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. If,
Ma'am, what did you say? Huh.
yes, if price is greater than marginal utility, what does it mean? That my marginal sacrifice, let me use that pointer, just a minute. Yes. If P is greater than marginal utility, that means my marginal sacrifice is greater than marginal return.
Yes.
Hmm? So what I am giving is something more than what I am getting, right?
Yes, ma'am. Hmm.
My sacrifice is more than the return. Okay. So as a rational
Hmm.
individual, I should not continue this. Why should I sacrifice more than what I am getting? Right. So
Yes,
then
ma'am.
what will be my decision? Price is given to me. I cannot change the price. Hmm. What I can do, I can change my consumption. because Q is a function of P. So again, that demand function. So here, what I will do, I will change my consumption, or more specifically, I will reduce my consumption, right?
Yes.
Because my return is not according to my sacrifice. So I mean, I'm just frustrated with the commodity. So I'm just reducing my consumption. Okay. So when I'm reducing the consumption, that means I'm moving in this way. So marginal utility is rising because of the law of diminishing marginal utility.
Yes, it is rising.
So if it is rising, now look at this inequality. Your right hand side is rising. Okay, your left hand side is fixed, your right hand side is rising. Ultimately you will get the equality. Is that okay?
Okay. Okay. So finally,
Yes.
equilibrium will be achieved. Okay.
Yes. So what is the equilibrium? Equilibrium is price is equal to marginal utility. Huh? you can
Okay.
Ma'am,
you can yes.
ma'am, in graphically, where we can define that P equals to mu when the mu curve touches the y-axis.
No. Your price is given. As I'm saying, price is given. So your price line is like this. Your price line is like this. It's a constant parallel to the horizontal axis. Okay, this is your price.
Okay.
So this is the equilibrium. This is the your equilibrium consumption. Is that okay?
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Okay.
Ma'am, the other
Yes.
line is marginal utility, right? Like
Yes.
the
Yes.
that's marginal utility, and the horizontal axis is price.
Yes. The line parallel to the horizontal axis is the price.
Price. Acha. So when P is equals to mu, at that point it is equilibrium in the market, like no, the demand equal to supply. That in that case,
For the consumer. For the consumer only. No, this is the concept from with respect to the consumer. It is not the market here.
okay.
It is the decision of the consumer. Everything for the consumer. Here we are not concerned about the supply side. How consumer is taking the decision.
So when consumer feels that his marginal utility is equal to price, at that point it is equilibrium for the consumer.
Yes, the consumer should purchase at that.
Okay.
Okay, fine. Now look, if price is increasing, say price is increasing. Okay, so say price is here. Then again we know the equilibrium condition, so that will be the equilibrium quantity. If price is falling, then that will be the equilibrium quantity. So what happened? Look, along the marginal utility curve, my quantity demanded is changing with respect to change in price. Right? What is
Yes.
happening here? What is happening here? If price is this, then quantity demanded is this, right? If price is P, then quantity demanded is this. If quantity consumption, okay, fine. Quantity consumption is this. If price is this, then quantity consumption is this. So marginal utility curve is showing the relationship between the price and the consumption. Do you agree with me?
Yes, ma'am.
So the which line is showing the relation between price and quantity demanded? This is the consumption, right? So this is demand side. So tell me the name of the curve which showing the relation between the price and quantity demanded. What is the name of the curve? All of you know that.
Mu.
Demand curve.
Demand
No,
curve. Demand
Demand
curve.
curve.
demand curve, right?
Demand curve.
Demand curve. Demand curve is showing the relationship between the price and quantity demanded. Now here it is mu curve. So what is the conclusion? Marginal utility curve is nothing but the demand curve. Okay. So this is another way you can derive your demand curve. You get my point? Initially, when we draw our demand curve, we are following the law of demand. Say there is law of demand. Say there is Walrash approach and everything. So this is the demand curve. This is how we are explaining the demand curve. And here we can understand the background story of the law of demand. the background story of the downward sloping demand curve. So what is demand curve actually? It is nothing but the marginal utility curve. Okay, you are paying according to your return. Do you get that point? So this is the relationship between the marginal utility and the theory of demand. Tell me your problem. You may have some confusion anywhere.
Ma'am, can we prove demand curve is downward sloping
Ma'am,
from?
can it happen that
Yes, I'm not getting your questions. I cannot hear anything actually. Yes, repeat.
ma'am?
Huh?
Ma'am, I was asking that can it happen that P is less than mu?
P is yes, why not? But you have to end with P is equal to mu. If P is less than mu, then your return is more than your sacrifice. So you are very happy with the commodity. Okay. So here you will increase your consumption. And when you are increasing the consumption, marginal utility will fall again because of the law of diminishing marginal utility. So your right hand side will fall and you will end with P is equal to mu. Okay. So that is your destination actually. So you have to come here.
Okay. So it is a stable equilibrium then,
Yeah.
you can say.
This is the decision of the consumer. Okay.
Okay.
Consumer is thinking like this. Okay. What I am paying and what I am getting. So he is always making a comparison.
Okay.
Okay. So do you get the
Okay, ma'am.
how you are getting the demand curve? Demand curve is nothing but the marginal utility curve. And look, if as I said in my last class, that if the commodity is inferior, if the commodity is inferior to the consumer, then marginal utility is negative. And as you know, if the commodity is not so good for you, in that case, your demand will be negative. You are just trying to leave the market. Okay, you are just trying to escape from the commodity. So this is also true here. So this is the relationship between the marginal utility and the theory of demand. This is in your syllabus. A particular heading is in your syllabus. Okay. Any question from here?
Ma'am, in case of inferior good, the marginal utility curve will cross the x-axis and become
No,
negative.
you cannot say no. You cannot say, look, marginal utility for inferior good, it is not violation of law of demand. Okay, as I said, inferior good is something related with your income. But here I should say that it is the commodity which you are thinking that, okay, the commodity is not good for me. So here you are trying to leave the market. Okay, so then the marginal utility curve is negative and the demand curve is negative as well for those type of commodity. But a bad commodity, I should say this is bad commodity for me. Okay, this is not inferior. Inferior is wrongly used actually. It is the bad commodity. Okay, bad commodity means pollution. Pollution is bad. Okay, so for this type of commodity, uh, the demand curve is negative, and we will use that concept again. Okay, so I'm going to the next slide.
Okay, ma'am.
Ordinal utility. So as I said, the first beginning was the cardinal utility, and we have introduced all the concept related with the cardinal utility. And now all of you know what is the problem of the cardinal utility, because in reality you cannot apply that. So based on that, ordinal utility is there, and ordinal utility says that, okay, you cannot measure, very fine, but you can rank. So basically our chapter, our unit 6 is based on the ordinal approach. So that ordinal utility have some assumptions. So what are those assumptions? The first assumption is completeness. What is completeness? Say there are three, you know what is mutually exclusive event? What is, you
Yes,
know
ma'am.
the statistics? Yes, what is mutually exclusive?
Two events that are not related to each other.
They cannot occur at the same time,
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
Day and night, they cannot occur at the same time. So they are mutually exclusive event, right? So in here also, there are three mutually exclusive events. That means either of these three must be there. Hmm. Say there are two commodity bundles, X and Y. Okay. So either X is preferred to Y, or X is indifferent to Y, or Y is preferred to X. Any of these three must be there. Any of these three relationship must be there. Either X is preferred to Y is preferred to X is indifferent to Y. Okay. Any of these three must be there. So this is the completeness. Hmm. Other than these three, you cannot find any relationship between two commodity bundles. Look, here we are saying after some time I will say, okay, this is X and this is Y, but actually specifically this is the X bundle and Y bundle. Okay, we are making the bundle. Within the bundle, there are so many commodities. Hmm. Anyway, so any of these three event must be there. So this is completeness. What is transitivity? If A is preferred to B, okay, B is preferred to C, then A is preferred to C. Do you get the point? If A is
Yes.
preferred to B is preferred to C, then A and the first and the last, they are related. A is preferred to C. Same thing can happen. A is indifferent to B is indifferent to C, then A is indifferent to C. Okay, this is called the transitivity property. The second one is non-saturation. Non-saturation means any rational individual. This is the concept from any rational individual. More is preferred. If the commodity is good, then more is preferred. Okay, we are always preferring more. That is why we are not happy with the local market. We are always interested to go to the shopping mall. We are always interested to go to even to the Dubai. Okay, so that means we preferred variety. It's not the variety. I should say more is preferred. More should be there. Options should be there. Okay, you get the point. This is what you are also thinking. You are also thinking more is preferred. If the shopkeeper is showing you only two items and you have to choose one of them, you are not so happy. But if the shopkeeper is showing you five items and of this you have to choose one, you are more happy. Okay, you are more happy that okay, more options I can see. I can choose from more options. So more is always preferred. Hmm. Is it okay?
Ma'am,
Yes.
why the assumption name is called non-saturation?
Because I am not saturated. I'm not satisfied.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So non-saturation is always in our mind. Always. For anything. What I'm getting, I'm not satisfied with that. I'm always preferring something more.
Ma'am,
Yes.
at the initial stage we discussed that the total utility will at after one point it will decrease.
Yes.
So ma'am,
That is why. Yes, yes. Tell your question at first.
so ma'am, how are we not saturated if our total utility will decrease, our consumption will decrease at one point?
No, no, no. When I was discussing that, I said when the commodity is good, till the commodity is good, we prefer more. But when it is becoming bad, then this is not the assumption. This assumption is not applicable for the bad commodity. Okay. For
If a
good
commodity,
commodity,
ma'am, I don't really understand this good and bad commodity. What are we? What happens? I'm kind of confused about this,
yes,
ma'am.
yes, yeah. Explain your question first.
Ma'am, you're saying that a commodity changes after some time. It
Mm-hmm.
becomes bad.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I like biryani, I will eat biryani. But
Mm-hmm.
at one point, I don't want any more biryani.
Yes.
That
From that
doesn't mean.
point of time, the commodity is becoming bad for you.
Okay, so we are assuming that the commodity is never a bad commodity, or we are
No,
what we are
the
telling
same
is.
commodity may be bad. No, look, same commodity may be bad after a certain level of consumption. Okay. Or there are some commodity which is bad from the very beginning. As I said, the pollution. It is bad always.
Why
For
we
this
enter
type,
a why we
yeah,
enter into the market if we know that the commodity is bad?
no, you sometimes you have to sacrifice, you have to accept pollution. No?
Yes.
I'm not trying to enter. I'm not happy to be there, but I have to accept.
One of the byproducts, we don't focus on.
Yes, but
Uh,
we have to consume that also,
yes, ma'am.
right?
Yes, ma'am.
We are not interested to consume, but we have to. So in that case also, I have to make some permutation combination. I have to make a decision.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other problem? Okay. Now the last assumption, convexity of preference. Convexity of preference, you know, any convex combination. For example, there is one consumption bundle is X. Okay. Okay. And one commodity is X. Another commodity is say Y. Fine. Say there is another commodity is coming out Z, which is actually it is not a new commodity. It is like small a into X plus small b into Y. Okay. So look, Z is not a new commodity. It's a combination of X and A, X and Y. Hmm. And if your curve is like this, and this is your X and this is your Y, if you join these 2 points, your Z must be on this line. Okay, your Z must be on this line. This is the equation of this. This is how you made your equations, right? So this is the, if your curve is like this, then only Z is here. Hmm. So this is the assumption that Z is preferred to X, Z is preferred to Y. Okay, this is the assumption. Why? Because Z has more variety. Hmm. Z has more variety. Z has X and Y. So I am preferring Z than X than Y. Okay. So this is the convex. As Z is the convex combination, this type of combination is called convex combination. So as Z is the convex combination of X and Y, and Z is preferred to X, Z is preferred to Y. So the assumption, this is the assumption, remember, this is the assumption. So what is the assumption? That variety is preferred. And this is also true. This is also true for our daily life. We are always preferring variety. We are preferring variety. So these are the assumptions of the ordinal approach. So first one is the completeness, second one is the transitivity, third one is the non-saturation, and the last is the convexity of preference. Your problem from this slide? Okay, no problem, I think. Here comes my drawing. The new concept of indifference curve. So what is indifference curve? This is a very useful concept actually. Indifference curve. In short, we are calling it IC. Hmm. So what is that? It is the locus of consumption of two commodities so that total utility is constant. Okay. Now look, here also your total utility is coming. So as I said, ordinal approach is actually based on the cardinal approach. Huh? The total utility, this is actually the concept of cardinal theory, but we are using it in the ordinal approach. So your utility function is u is a function of x and y. X and y, these are the two commodities. We are always preferring two commodities because we are dealing with a two-dimensional space. Our paper, our screen, everything is two-dimensional. Okay, so we are always preferring two commodities, x and y. So my utility is depending on the consumption of x and consumption of y, right? Do you have any problem? Any problem from anyone?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So look, according to the definition, indifference curve means your total utility is constant. You can change the consumption of x, you can change the consumption of y, you can do anything with the consumption of x and y, but your total utility must be constant. So if it is, look at this diagram. X is measured here, you can change it. You can change, you can write y here, you can write x or anything. This is not an issue. But look, say a certain amount of x and certain amount of y is consumed by the consumer. Okay, so it is here. So it is here. Initially, that is the consumption point. Okay, certain amount of x and y. Now the consumer is increasing the consumption of y. Done. Now, as these are generally we are talking about the normal good. We are not talking about these are something special, the bad commodity, pollution. These are something special issues. But generally we are concerned about the normal good. Now here, when the consumer is increasing consumption of y, then the total utility, that is u here, is rising. No. Is that okay? Is that okay? Any problem?
No,
Because
ma'am.
your
Can
yes,
you
yes,
repeat the last part in the
yes.
graphical?
Say the consumption of y is increasing. Okay, let me draw. Okay, given the consumption of x, if the consumer is increasing consumption of y, so he is here. Okay, initially he was consuming this much of y, now he is consuming this much of y. Okay, so he is consuming more of y. Now what is the result? The result is the total utility will increase because marginal utility is positive. No? It's a normal good. So marginal utility is positive. If I am consuming more and more of a commodity, definitely my total utility will rise. Is that okay?
Yes, ma'am. Clear.
Okay. But by definition, along the indifference curve, my total utility should be constant. Okay. Then how can I do this? I have to reduce my consumption of x. From y, my consumption, my utility is increasing. So I have to reduce the consumption of x so that my total utility will fall. Okay. Okay. So there is an inverse relation between x and y consumption along the indifference curve, because along the indifference curve, my total utility must be constant. If I want to increase consumption of one commodity, I have to sacrifice consumption of another commodity so that the total utility will be constant. Is that okay? Is that okay? Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So that means there is an inverse relationship between the consumption of x and y. If consumption of x is increasing, then consumption of y should fall. If consumption of y is increasing, then consumption of x should fall. Otherwise, you cannot make constant total utility. Okay. So to get constant total utility, there is an inverse relationship between x and y. So you know, if the relationship is inverse, the line will be downward sloping. Okay. So the line will be downward sloping. That is why my indifference curve is downward sloping. Look, it's a very smooth convex curve. But as I have drawn this line is uneven like this, but it is not. In general, the indifference curve is very convex like this. Okay. Now how, okay. So we are getting the relationship. The relationship is inverse. The line should be downward sloping. That much is clear. But the thing is, what is the exact slope? That we have to know. Otherwise, we cannot apply this concept. Huh? So look, this is your utility. This is the equation, or this is the function of the indifference curve. Okay. From here, you have to find out the slope. What you are measuring on the horizontal axis, x. What you are measuring on the vertical axis, y. Then what is the slope of this line? Dx dy. Is that okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So how to get it? If you total differentiate it, your left hand side will be 0 because u is a constant. Okay. Assume it is a 0. Huh? Then equal, it will be del of del u, total differentiation. Huh? Tarika. Del u del x into dx. I'm just using the simple total differentiation formula. Plus del u by del y into dy. Okay. So my left hand side is 0 and right hand side is like this. Now what is the slope? The slope is dx dy. Okay. So dx dy is what? Dx dy is, if I just make it right hand side, left hand side, everything. So dx dy will be del u del y divided by del u del x. Okay. Actually what happened, generally we are measuring y here. This is a normal. Normally we are measuring x on the horizontal axis and y on the vertical axis. By mistake I have written this, but generally we are doing like this. So in that case the slope is dy dx. So what is dy dx? Dy dx is del u del x divided by, if you have your copy, na, so just write it down and then find out dy dx. What is the value of dy dx? Tell me. What is the value of dy dx? Tell me. What you are getting in your right hand side?
Ma'am, minus del u by del x whole divided by del u by del y.
Okay. Now what is the name of del u del x?
MUX, marginal
Yes.
utility of x.
And the denominator is MUY. So this is written here. Look, minus of MUX by MUY. So this is my slope. Okay. So this is the slope of the indifference curve. Now
So,
look
ma'am,
for the norm. Yes.
if we should change the x's also, no? X and
Yes.
y
No
should
issue. No
interchange.
issue. No issue. As it is already written, so I have just changed the
Mm-hmm.
axis.
Okay.
So generally we are doing like this: x on the horizontal axis, y on the vertical axis. So what is the slope? Minus of MUX by MUY. Very good. So MUX, for the normal good, MUX is positive. For the normal good, MUY is also positive. So it's a positive ratio with a negative sign. So the slope is negative actually. So the slope is negative. Now I forgot to write another slide here. Yes, no, it is written here. Yes, marginal rate of substitution. It is called MRS. Huh? We are calling it as MRS, marginal rate of substitution between x and y. Okay, this is called MRS. Fine. So what is that? It is the absolute value of the slope of the indifference curve. So as your slope has a negative sign, so what is the absolute value? Mux by Muy. So Mux by Muy is called the marginal rate of substitution. Okay. Now, if you change, if you increase consumption of X, okay, here now we are measuring X on the horizontal axis. Huh? So if I am increasing consumption of X, that means I am moving like this, then what happened? Marginal utility of X, that will fall because of law of diminishing marginal utility. Can you remember that? If I am increasing consumption of X, then my MUX will fall.
Yes, ma'am, I can remember.
Okay. And at the same time, as I'm moving along the IC, then my Y consumption is falling. So MUY is falling. MUY is increasing. MUX is falling and MUY is increasing. So what about the ratio? The ratio is falling. Okay. When I'm increasing X consumption, that means I'm reducing the Y consumption. Then MUX by MUY is falling. Right?
I can't get this part. MUX is increasing and MUY is
No, no,
decreasing.
no, 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 no. Just opposite. I am increasing consumption of X. Okay.
Okay. Hmm.
That means I am moving like this. I am increasing consumption of X. So MUX is falling.
Yes, yes,
Law of
MUX is
diminishing
falling.
marginal utility. Okay. And when I'm doing this along my indifference curve, that implies the consumption of Y is falling. So at the same time, MUY is increasing. Hmm. So numerator is falling, denominator is increasing. That means this ratio without the negative sign, this ratio is falling. If my numerator is falling and denominator is increasing, then the ratio is falling. বোঝা যাচ্ছে? MUX is increasing. Baba. X is increasing, so MUX is falling. Y is falling, then MUY is increasing. So my numerator, that means MUX, that is falling, and the denominator, that is MUY, that is rising. Okay, so the ratio of just a minute. হ্যাঁ বলো আমি তোমাকে 10 মিনিট বাদে করব আমি না এখন সেম ওয়ানের ক্লাস নিচ্ছি আমার তো আমার তো সিলেবাস শেষ হয়নি সাংঘাতিক অবস্থা আমার আমি তোমায় করছি 6টার পরে করছি হ্যাঁ 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 ঠিক আছে গো হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ ওকে so is that okay MUX by MUY
Yes, ma'am.
okay after after the end of this class just try to remember what I told you it's better to take any running note in your copy because sometimes I'm taking a lot of time to upload this thing but I'm trying to upload these two today actually depends on the network if it is available then definitely I will upload these two classes in LMS today otherwise I have to wait for some time it's better to take some running note important points on your copy and after finishing this class when the class will be over then just go through it then you can understand what I taught you need some time you need some time to indulge all those I know that and this is the first time we are facing this type of problem you know the time as is so short it's quite difficult to complete but we have to complete because I know the question will come from the syllabus total syllabus so I have to finish it you have to be prepared for that huh? So I'm trying very hard you have to work hard definitely to understand so MUX by MUY is falling when I am increasing X consumption okay so that means What is MUX by MUY? This is the marginal rate of substitution. So I can say, where is my S? Where is my S? Just a minute. Okay. So what I can say that when X consumption is increasing, when I am moving along the horizontal axis, MRS is falling. This point is okay to you or not? When I am moving along the horizontal axis, whatever, X, Y, whatever, when I am moving along the horizontal axis, MRS is falling.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now what is the slope? Minus of MRS. So if MRS is falling, minus of MRS is increasing. Right? If MUX by
Yes,
MUY is falling, then minus of MUX by MUY is increasing.
it's increasing.
Yes, and this is what happened here. Look at the curve. The line is becoming flatter and flatter. Okay, line is becoming flatter. That is why your IC is convex. Okay, so what is the basic reason? What is the actual reason behind the convexity of IC? Can you tell me? In a single sentence, you have to give me the answer. Why IC is convex?
Due to diminishing marginal rate of substitution.
No,
Ma'am, because if we consume more of one commodity, we have to compromise on the other.
no. Then it is downward sloping. Why it is convex?
Because the minus sign is increasing, means the value
No,
of negative.
no, 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 no. What is the basic reason? The basic reason is
Oh,
yes. The basic
ma'am,
reason is that
because the
yes, yes. Tell
consumption
me.
of X and the consumption of because both of the items giving a different utility, so
No, no,
both
no,
of
no,
the consumptions are different.
no, 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 no. The basic reason is the law of diminishing marginal utility. That is the best reason, right? Because of that, your MRS is falling. As there is law of diminishing marginal utility, your MUX is falling. Na? Why MRS is falling? Because marginal law of diminishing marginal utility is there. So in a single sentence, the reason behind the convexity of IC is law of diminishing marginal utility. This is another one property of the IC. We will discuss it. Okay. What I said, that when I'm moving in this way, that means I'm increasing consumption of X here, then my MUX is falling. And that is the reason behind the fall in the ratio. Na? So why my MUX is falling? Because there is law of diminishing marginal utility. Okay. So law of diminishing marginal utility is very important in that sense. Everything, all the decision, all the principles, curves, everything is depending on that law. So the reason behind this convexity of IC is law of diminishing marginal utility. Then you have to explain how it is. Your answer is partially right, that law of the diminishing MRS. But why there is diminishing MRS? Because of the law. Okay, it's already 6. I should stop here. Otherwise, it will be barabadi. I will explain the rest portion. Okay, one more thing. Just a minute. Wait for 1 minute. Huh? Wait for 1 minute. I have 2 classes with you. No, yes, I have 2 classes with. Actually, why I am doing like this, because I want to. First of all, I want to complete the syllabus. All of you know that, but at the same